Sorry.
And welcome. So, as you guys may or may not know, I talked about doing this podcast idea for a really long time, and it didn't feel right because if I don't know if you know this, I don't know if I brought this up to you. I talked to the chat about this, but other than you, I actually have two other people that have I've explained this layout to them and that they're down to do it, but it didn't feel right not having you be the first guest. It just didn't. It felt gross. So I actually purposely pushed back the other two people and said wait a couple weeks or whatever, because it didn't feel right to do this idea and not have you as the very first guest. So
Damn. Well, appreciate it. It gets to be that special.
unfortunately, because
Also,
this is
sorry.
what's up.
I was gonna say sorry to the other people who were probably like,
No, it's
like, oh, never
fine.
mind.
It's fine because you get to be. It's good for me too because you get to be the guinea pig. So if anything goes wrong, I'm like, oh, cool. I know you the most, Where the other
Yeah.
two people have never been on a live stream before, so they've never had this experience. Where for better or for worse, you spent many, if not hundreds and thousands of hours in front of these people.
Yeah.
So I'm just seeing the comments. Don't respond to chat. Don't give them the satisfaction because the last 15 minutes we'll take questions. We've got some questions that were submitted, and so don't even let them take you off course with this. But I really appreciate you taking time out of the day to do this. And you and I were talking while we were setting up, out of all the years that you and I streamed together, we never did something like this ever. It's always been the gameplay. It was always just play the game, play the game, play the game. Where you would be telling me a story and my face would be buried in my phone reading chat. So we've never had an opportunity. These people need to be humbled today. We're gonna let them talk amongst themselves. Fuck them, ignore all them, and it's just gonna be you and me talking and. I think it's cool. Plus, I'm sure there's people that will be watching it on YouTube and stuff as well. But I don't know. I like this layout and I like this idea. And for the 10% of people that don't know who you are, do you want to explain how you and I know each other?
I mean, yeah, we met. We went to the same high school, which probably doxes me a little bit because you always dox yourself.
No, bullshit, dude. I said one thing a couple weeks ago.
Listen. Yeah, well, it just so happens that I happen to be there on the stream, and I'm like, look at him doxing himself and not caring about it. But anyway,
you saying that is giving it way more exposure than it got.
You're right. Well, anyway, so we went to the same high school, and you were a grade above me. And we obviously we rode the same bus.
Yeah.
And you were always really funny to me, even before I knew you, because you would listen to music on your Nintendo DS, and I'm talking the original brick fucking ugly ass gray Nintendo DS.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't just it wasn't as simple as you just you had headphones in and you were listening to music. No, you would blast it. Loud as shit for everyone to hear on the bus, and it'd be like Chocolate Rain or something, which is probably I'm sure 98%.
I love that. That's your first that was your first impression of me. Is I wasn't listening to me music, but because here's a little bit of a backstory about that, because a lot of people might be like the fact checkers out there might be wait a minute, you can't play MP3s on the original DS. That started with the DSi. But I actually soft modded my original Nintendo DS in order to do that.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny too because so you would play just dumb shit over your fucking DS speakers all the time. And you would just piss everybody off. Everybody on the bus was so fucking mad.
It's because I hated those people, dude. I remember even the bus driver got mad. She's like, "Which one of you is playing that? Turn it off!" But she never found out it was me because I would wear headphones. So I'd have my headphones.
Fucking stupid.
I'd have my headphones in. While it was going on, so that way nobody suspect. Well, the people on the bus knew, but the bus driver didn't, because they'd be like, "Why is the person with headphones blasting their speakers out loud?"
Yeah. Well, I always thought it was really funny because I didn't hate the people that were on the bus, but there was a very clear separation of there was the front of the bus, which were the people that just really didn't want to be involved with anything that was happening towards the back end of the bus, which is understandable.
Yeah, because the back end is where Rosa Parks was.
No, That's where we were at. And then so the middle of the bus, it was funny because they would try to like encroach upon the back of the bus, but there was like
a barrier, wasn't there?
Yeah, I was literally just gonna say there was a buffer zone where nobody would sit. It was like no man's fucking land. It was like a DMZ.
Yeah, in my memory, I remember like a bouncer.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Brian. Yeah.
Why would you say his name?
What? Just a name, Brian. It's
you
a
can
very
say
common name.
Brian.
Yeah, we could call.
Listen, we can tell any stories we want, but we got to change their names.
What do you mean? Brian's a super common name.
No, for sure. I'm just saying for future.
I'm not gonna like fucking say his first, last name, and last four is his social security number.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Do you remember what my nickname for him was?
No.
I would always refer to him as Mr. Violence.
I vaguely remember that now. Yeah. No. So yeah, and anyway, you would sit in the back of the bus, play a bunch of dumb shit over the DS speakers. I thought it was funny because like everybody would get really mad and you just ignored them. And then I like tried talking to you because like I figured, because we both like looked like fucking losers, so I was like, we probably both enjoy.
Speak for yourself, buddy.
Well, anyway, so I could look at you and I'm like, that guy likes dumb shit like me. So then I don't know like I don't remember like the first thing I talked to you about, but I do remember like.
I think I know what story you're going to tell, and I'm so happy because I told this story a few weeks ago, but there was not that many viewers. So I'm actually really happy you're going to tell this. So go on.
Yeah. So I was like, oh man, we should like hang out or something because we like live near each other, which again, doxing, but
it's fine, dude. It's fine.
So I asked for your phone number, and you gave me your phone number. Well, you gave me a phone number. And I was like, all right, cool, man. I'll like call you or whatever. And so I went to call you one weekend, and it was like a Rick Astley fucking hotline or whatever. Like I called and it was just a recording of "Give You Up" or whatever the fuck the name of the song is. Sorry.
Never gonna give you up.
Yeah, never gonna give you up. And I was like, okay. All right. And so the following week, I was like, hey man, that was really funny. Can you give me your real phone number now?
And I can't remember. Did I after?
I think you did, yeah. And
okay.
I was like, is this actually your phone number? Is going to be like another dumbass show? And you were laughing. You were like in tears laughing. Like you thought it was the funniest thing ever. You're like, no, it's real, my real phone number. Yeah. And then like I think the first time I went to your house, you were really into doing magic tricks at the time.
Yeah, I'm so glad you remember that. I couldn't even remember. I didn't even know if you really knew me when I did stuff like that. But yeah, I forgot that like you and a couple other people that we went to school with actually came over. I did that show like in my basement, and I was charging everybody like $2 per person.
Yeah, it was like legitimately cool. It was like a good, like I was actually impressed. I was like, how the fuck did you do that shit? Like it was enjoyable.
Yeah, when I tell people I used to do magic, they think it's like a lot of like hokey shit or like pick a card and then it's just like you pick the right one. But I prided myself in working my ass off to do that because that was before like my creativity was poured into live streaming. So when I wasn't working at the time, I was like 14, 15 years old. So when I wasn't at school, I was just doing magic all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that you were there. I really did forget that you were one of the people that was there when I did the basement show.
Yeah, that was the first time I ever went to your house or like hung out with you. I'm pretty sure.
I did not know that. That's actually cool. See, look at how is it one podcast together? We're learning more than all the times of playing Mario and Dark Souls.
We're talking about fucking poop and pee and shit. Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised.
See, this is why this is good. This is why I think that this setup of just like telling stories, because I think it's entertaining in its own way, in a much different way than playing a game is. Because I don't want to hype us up too much, but I think that both of us are legitimately, even if sometimes Twitch chat doesn't see it, as if I give a fuck about their opinion. But like, I think that you and I have lived pretty interesting lives, and the things and the stories that we have to tell are worth listening to. Because I think that we've done a lot, so that's why I like doing stuff like this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel like most people, there's always some really either funny or fucked up story, you can tell them, and and they're like, oh, and you can take something from it and learn about it. But yeah, I mean, we've definitely had some interesting experiences and some weird characters involved in our lives that have
Yeah.
made things pretty interesting.
So,
Give me like 2 seconds. I'll be right back. I'm so sorry.
no, that's
It's
fine.
literally 2
No,
seconds.
it's fine. I can entertain them. I'm good at that.
All right, 1 second.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me know when you're back. The fact that Urban, I'll have to bring this up. Again, that's the beauty of a live podcast. You never know when there's going to be a little bit of BRBs. But luckily, Zach Elliott is always ready. Also, don't forget, guys, if you guys have any questions for Andrew, go to the Discord and go to the guest questions. And then at the end, the last 15 to 20 minutes, we're going to pull questions from there. So if you guys are asking for questions in chat, there's a 95% chance it's not going to be seen. But just copy paste it, put it in the Discord, and I'm going to scroll through at the end. We're going to take a time designated to just questions. And we're going to do this for all guests. But it's so funny that you say that, Urban, that basically Andrew and I are Adam and Jamie from Mythbusters, because I'm going to bring that up, and I promise you Andrew's going to hate that, because I always used to say that, and he hated it. So
Don't they fucking hate each other now?
perfect timing to come back. All right, listen though. Listen. Don't you remember me always saying that though, that we were like the Mythbusters, and you always hated it, right?
I mean, yeah, because I didn't get how.
Listen. Well, no, I would like to actually like formally take this time to like apologize for saying that, because that was fucked up, because you and I were legitimately friends off stream. But I think at that period of my life, I hung out with a lot of people based on necessity at the time, you know? Not saying that like I didn't like hanging out with you, because that's bullshit. Because one of the things that we've talked about is we had a great tradition of every Tuesday after stream getting Buffalo Wild Wings, and I would sometimes look more forward to that than the actual stream. I'd be like, let's get this fucking stream over with, so we could.
I still think about that.
Dude, it was a highlight.
Fucking Buffalo Wild Wings, even though it would make me sick.
It would make me sick too.
80% of the time.
We would get so sick, but we'd go every week, and then you would try to like, you would have like your season where you'd be like, I think I'm done with it, and I would drag you right back. I'd be like, no. I was like, we gotta get this shit. I was like, we gotta.
I think what should have been the final straw and going there.
Oh no!
It should have been the fucking Mountain Dew flavored.
No, dude, the Music City Festival was the best flavor they ever had.
That's a fucking deep cut.
Yeah,
like, I haven't heard about that.
I don't know if anybody in the world knows about it but me, and maybe like one guy from like Buffalo Wild Wings corporate.
I'm surprised we didn't get kicked out of there.
Why? What makes you say that? I'm glad, because this is gonna lead into another story that you might not want me to tell.
Maybe, probably not. But
come on, it's fine. Like, anyways,
the topics that would be discussed sometimes, and
name one of them. This stream is all about peeling back the curtain. This whole stream is about you and I have we created this channel almost 9 years ago at this point. I think it's time these people are owed a little bit of secrets.
Yeah, well, I think one of the ones that always sticks out to me, and it's still just so funny to me to think about, and so unfortunate too, especially for the person involved, because it's like, there was a casualty, there was an innocent involved.
This is a good way. It was great.
It was this guy who, he had served us a few times before, and he seemed like a decent guy, just.
The funny thing is, I can picture him in my head.
I know exactly what it is.
He will be forever burned into our brains. I like how a lot of your stories are making me sound like a piece of shit, so I'm gonna get one back at you after this, but continue.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, you could probably get a lot, but anyway.
No, it's fine. It's fun. We're having fun.
So, I forget what we were talking about, but he was taking our order, and you were wearing an Undertale shirt, and it had like sands on it. You should probably still wear that.
No,
shirt.
It was Napstablook.
Oh, you're right. It was Napstablook. You're right.
All right, Chad, get ready for this story. This actually happened. I don't know if I've ever told this one. Maybe once a couple of years ago, but here we go.
Yeah, Epic Man remembers it apparently. Anyway, so you're wearing this shirt, and he's like, oh man, that's a really cool shirt. What is that from? Like, is that like, I think he said like, is that Pac-Man or something? Which like, all right, fair enough. Like it was like a ghost, and it kind of looked like, and you like, it's like you turned a switch on, like you like went into like a mega autism mode, like even more than normal. Like you went into like character.
I did. I'm glad you recognized that, because a lot of people might interpret that as like that being like actually me, like how I would respond in a normal conversation. I will explain everything once you're done with the story. But continue.
Yeah, yeah. You just like, yeah, and you looked at him straight in like just straight in the eyes, and you're like, this is the famous character Nasabluke from the hit game Undertale, and like you just started going on this big rant, and then he's like, oh man, that's really cool. Like, what kind of game is it? And like, I don't remember the exact conversation because I was like dying of secondhand cringe. And which was your goal, I'm sure, was to make me feel cringe.
Yeah, if you're wondering, for anybody in the chat wondering, like, that doesn't sound like Zach. I would purposely act in a way that would make Andrew feel uncomfortable. I was like the modern day like Andy Kaufman, and
well, it didn't end there though.
Oh no, wait till the bombshell comes. Continue. I'm sorry, I'm bad at interrupting, but I'm reliving it. But continue.
Yeah, well, the thing, it ended with you saying, pretty much unprompted, you're like, yeah, you should look it up on I forget what you said, like Reddit or some shit. Like,
which I don't even use.
I know. You're like, it's spelled Undertale, and then you spell it like, you said Tail, which is like the fucking, like the NSFW, like fucking.
It's the Undertale porn Reddit. Because the guy wanted to know. He's like, I'm not gonna remember, so I wrote it down on a napkin or a receipt, and I said, just Google this.
Yeah, which is. I cannot believe, and I'm pretty sure after that we never had him as a server again.
I think he killed himself.
No, he was there. We would see him there.
He just requested to not have us.
He would just like they'd see us walk in, and he's like, I'm not fucking serving that table. Those guys are a bunch of fucking fools. It's like, I don't blame him. I would do the same thing.
Yeah, like I said though, that is not the type of thing that I would do. I'm completely okay. Like I said, you've probably picked up on this, but when I make jokes or when I make streams or when I make shit posts, the target audience has always been me. I always want to make myself laugh. Yeah, I try to create scenarios. So many times we have streamed and it would be like a Soul Saturday and I'd be putting like Sans twerking on the thing and you'd be like, nobody thinks this shit's funny. I'd be like, oh, I know, but I do. So
I knew. It took me a little bit to realize. I think one of the times where I realized that the sick joke was that everything was all for you.
You make me sound like I'm some like narcissist psychopath. I'm just a guy that plays games on the internet.
I'm definitely exaggerating a bit, but
yeah, what the fuck? I'm gonna wait till the next story I got for you, buddy.
Hold on. Let me be clear. I would not stream with you continuously and be friends with you if I wasn't okay with it, or if I felt like I was.
Yeah, you and I are similar. In the sense that we don't give our time and energy to things that we hate. We just don't. We don't do that shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the stream where I realized all right, I see how things are, was because really early on, I don't know how much a chat. I mean, like Dally and Epic Man probably know this.
Dally, Epic Man, Shin, Depri, Taters, maybe.
Yeah. Like when we first started, the initial plan was to like play games, so we'd alternate.
Oh yeah, I don't know if we've ever really explained that. Do you want to just like really quick just explain like when we started streaming, what was our original plan? Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, do you want me to talk about like our original plan, or like what became like the Milky finish? Because like when we originally started, it was really funny because it was just like, let's get together and play Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah. I've told that story a lot though, but the short version is blah, 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 blah. I was really hyped for MGS5. I wanted to live stream. I used to live stream from my Zach Lolliot account. And then one day you were just texting me like, hey, what are you up to? I'm like, oh, I'm just streaming. You're like, hey, can I come over? And I was like, yeah. Then we streamed, and we like stumbled across some glitch where like Big Boss or Venom was in the box, but it wasn't showing the box. Sorry. And then then we decided to create a channel together. But yeah, going back to when I prompted this question, I was like, when we started the Milky Finishers, what our plan was. Yeah.
So the plan was to like, it was gonna have each of us, because we both have like pretty similar tastes in games, but also different, like distinctly different. So it was interesting because there was a lot of games that like I had played that I loved that you'd never even like touched, and vice versa, right? And so like the plan was to have each of us every week or two pick a game for the other person to play that they've never played. And so the one of the games that I had you play was Final Fantasy VII. Do you remember that?
So you caught on to me real early. Fun fact though, that stream of ours, that very first time I played FF7, is still on our YouTube channel. It's on the main channel. So
yeah, you guys can go and see this exact moment I'm about to talk
about. So for anybody who wants the receipts for what Andrew's about to say, you can see it play out in real time 8 years ago to the day. Not to the day, but you know what I mean. But continue.
Well, you could see my
face,
my
your joy change
too. Like, cause I'm trying. Yeah, because I'm trying to like actually explain the game and like talk about you know like, oh yeah, like this is what made it really cool at the time, and try to like kind of connect like with you and the viewers with like the game and enjoy it at that level. And meanwhile, you discover there's a few things that happen. So you discover the like cheat setting basically, where you could just turn on like infinite limit breaks and like max health or whatever by just literally clicking a button. And I was like, hey man, don't do that. You're just gonna like trivialize the whole game, and it's gonna be really like stupid and not fun. And you're like, okay, and you start clicking it and like turn it on, just fucking killing everything in like one hit and like limit breaking everything. And I'm like,
dude, Cloud is just swole.
And then I think the moment, and this is the specific moment that I'm referring to that you could see in the VOD, but when you're going to I don't remember the specific part, but you're in like the subway train tracks, and you have to like run through them to get to
where you need to be.
And so there's like very clearly you're supposed to go forward. There's only two directions. There's forward and backwards. And the game literally tells you like, hey, if you keep going back, it's just gonna like you're wasting your time. It's gonna be a huge fucking like it's gonna take forever to get all the way back up here. And you're like, okay, and you start going all the way back, and it takes so fucking long. You're like 10 screens back, and you finally get all the way to the end, and then there's just infinite enemies that spawn, because it's the game trying to tell you, like, hey, go the other way. And I swear to God, for the next, like, 40 minutes to 1 hour, you're just fighting those fucking enemies. And you're, like, just hitting the limit break button, and just, like, constant, like, that was pretty much the rest of the stream. We didn't get any farther. And I was like, okay. I was like, I see what's happening now. But yeah, so that's the moment where I was like, I don't think we're gonna be able to do what I thought the original vision for this game was this stream was gonna be, but that's okay.
In my defense, though, if you go back and look at, because like a lot of people always ask me, one of the questions I get the most is just like, Zach, I want to start streaming. What should I do? Our channel kind of went from zero to where it still is now within like a month. Like our channel blew the fuck up in a month, and then it's just been an 8-year plateau ever since. But I don't think a lot of people realize. Like, to get to where we were did not take very long. We played Dark Souls, Parappa, and then after, like, by Final Fantasy, we already had like Soviet Badger, Andrew Rigg, and a bunch of other people regulars, like counting down the days to our streams.
Yeah, I think the biggest growth we saw though was definitely Undertale.
Really fun. Yeah, Undertale was nuts. And I know that you hated that, because when I realized that was getting us majority of our viewers and money, like we were hitting it a lot. Like we were hitting that free content button a lot. It's like the study of the rats, where they hit the dopamine button and then they end up becoming so addicted to it that they starve to death.
I mean, the people weren't starving though; they just kept fucking coming. It was like
literally
50 plus viewers like every time.
It was, dude. We were hitting 40, 50 viewers, and half of the people in the name were like people RPing as the characters from the game. There's like 6 people named
dude.
Sand, 6 people named Undyne.
People would get so mad. They would get so angry because, and I'm sure like anybody who's familiar with the Undertale fan base, especially, I mean, now it's like, it's not the same anymore, right? 'Cause the
Yeah.
game's so old.
That was a magical time.
Yeah, well, that's one way to put it, yeah.
No, you liked it a little bit. I remember after the stream, me, you, and Jake would binge the Undertale Musicallys back when it was Musically.
Oh my god, Musically, yeah. Like before we'd go to fucking Buffalo Wild Wings, like, let's watch
We would watch it for like an hour straight, and it would just be like nonstop Undertale cancer.
Yeah, but yeah, I remember people would get really mad because, especially like the first playthrough we did of it, because I wanted to go into it blind and I didn't really know anything about the game.
Well, neither did I, but you know me, I was just kind of like, when I could feel the energy in the chat change, I would steer kind of towards where they were going. So
Yeah,
I was right there with you.
Entirely.
Yeah, I was right there with you, and the moment it changed was when you killed Toriel.
Yeah, well, yeah, man, I remember.
That was when we all went down the rabbit hole.
Well, it's funny because people were getting kind of mad because they were realizing that I started attacking the monsters, and people were like, "Stop attacking them! Stop attacking!" I was like, "What the fuck? What do you mean stop attacking? They're attacking me. Why would I not attack them? Like it's self-defense at that point."
Yeah.
So, and then Toriel, which to the game's credit, right, like is supposed to be played off as like she's a fucking weirdo because she just like is like, "You're not leaving this house. Like you're gonna stay here forever, and I'm gonna take care of you."
No, bro, that's not weird because she wants to take care of you. She's like, "Oh, want to like call me mommy and then look me in the eye?"
Listen, we've had a lot of discussions about the type of situations that you would probably get yourself into, and yeah, that's a situation where I think you should probably not be comfortable in, because there's usually a reason why a weird psychotic person is telling you can't leave their home for the rest of your life.
In the game, when the game, she's just a good person.
Again, I draw the line at forcefully entrapping somebody, but which is what happened.
Oh man.
So yeah, then and so I attacked her because she's like, "I'm not gonna let you leave," and then I killed her in the game, and I swear to God, like,
dude,
it was like. Dude, the chat, like, it's so weird because it was people through Twitch chat, but I could feel their, like, raw hatred.
Yeah, I could feel it too.
Like they were just so fucking mad. They were so mad. They couldn't believe that I killed Toriel, and I was just like, I did what I thought was right at the time, like, whatever. And
the weird thing is, that would happen to you a lot more than it would happen to me. Very few times have I felt the chat turn on me.
I mean, I didn't. I didn't really care that the chat was like mad. I more cared about the fact that like, because you were kind of like, "Hey, maybe we should like play it a little bit differently," and then I was like, "No, fuck that." I was like, "Why would I do that?" I was like, "The whole point of this is to go in and play it blind. Like, why would I like,
I get it. In retrospect, that's the way to do it, but that was not the climate of that game at the time. The climate was do everything to get the Sans. And that is exactly what we did. And
Wait, that wasn't the no. What do you mean? People wanted you to do the pacifist route.
True, but I just
didn't
meant
want to see you kill all their favorite characters.
No, true. I just meant in general, like people were like, "I want my favorite moments to happen, so the streamer needs to do X, Y, Z."
Oh,
maybe not specifically the genocide route, but yeah, it was more like, I don't care to see these people's actual blind playthrough. I want my favorite moments on screen while they talk about it. Like it was just a very mentally ill way of doing it.
Yeah. I mean, Undertale was definitely a big turning point. It's funny too,
that's one way to put it.
To
this day, I always still talk about Sans. My viewers still never get enough of it.
Yeah. And then also like Dark Souls 2, or not Dark Souls 2 specifically, but Dark Souls also was like a really big thing for our channel, which was,
fuck
thank
yeah,
God,
dude.
because because I didn't get a lot of like a lot of me time in terms of like things that I really liked, right? Because the funny thing is, and this was part of the joke to the channel, is that if you would allow me to get something in that I like, you would bastardize it. You would somehow morph it into
you paint me in this crazy ass light, dude, as if I'm some demon. You act like I'm some like Joker, like putting the face paint. I'm like, oh, Andrew likes this. Well, let me fuck it up. I don't think you realize how much entertainment people got from your uncomfortability.
I know.
That's what it was.
I know.
Because if I saw that it was like legitimately bothering you a lot, I would back off. And there were times I pushed it a little bit too far, but I tried to just get right up to that line. But I will never forget the one time, I don't know what we streamed or what we played, but you and I had like an hour-long conversation in your car. Do you remember this? And
No.
you were like, hey, you're like, can we talk about something? I was like, what's up? And you're like, and then you kind of like poured out your heart as to be like, can we maybe like play some games that I want to play and like do like Monster Hunter and shit? I was like, yeah, of course.
God, Monster Hunter, that was such a
Monster Hunter
nightmare.
Monday?
Yeah, did that last 1 or 2 streams?
It was one, and Reckle the Rock was so into it. He loved it.
He was the only guy. He was the only one that was into it. Him and me.
I always felt bad for you because you would have these big plans and visions. You'd be like, this will save the stream for me. And then we would do it, and it would be met with little to no fucking like acceptance.
Yeah. I had to realize, and I did, that I don't know how the fuck to entertain people. Like, and so I you know, because I thought, I was like, okay, well maybe people watch us, and so I was like, oh, so they'd probably just like watch me too, maybe, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like a weird like narcissist thing, but it's
No.
just like, you know,
there's
like
no reason to not feel that.
Yeah, and so, and then not that people didn't like watch like the stuff that was more focused on like what I wanted to do, but it's just not, I don't think it was like it's a lot of things, but I think it wasn't like the crowd that we brought in. The crowd that we brought in came in because they want to see goofy ass shit. And I'm like, I want to like sit here and really like nerd out about the game and like talk about the game and like enjoy it with everyone. And like that is just not what people gave a shit about. And then also the people that watched us like didn't like the stuff that I was into. Which is funny because the stuff that I was into back then was popular at the time, but it's like mega popular now.
Right.
And like everybody's into it, and that, you know, like it'd probably be a bit different, but yeah, it was just it was very funny / sad when I'd be like, I want to play this, like Monster Hunter, for example.
Yeah.
I'd be like, let's play Monster Hunter on stream, and you're like, all right, man, and then like fucking nobody watched it, and I was like, all right, never mind, we're not playing Monster Hunter.
Yeah. But
the
Dark Souls streams did do very well. And they did so well, in fact, that I don't think without those streams, we would have gone to PAX South. Majority of the fans that we met were because of Soul Saturday.
Yeah.
Because,
we definitely had...
No, what were you saying?
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I was gonna say there was definitely a different vibe in the chat between Soul Saturdays and Mario Mondays.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
And I think like Undertale, we'd usually play on like Wednesday, I think, right? It was like...
Yeah, it was like Undertale Wednesday or Undertale Tuesday or some shit. And
it was supposed to be Variety Wednesday or Variety Tuesday, but we ended up...
Yeah, I wonder when the moment was that I think it was because of Undertale. But fuck, I lost my train of thought here. But yeah, it's because I mean, it definitely was more both-sided than you think, because I was telling people in the stream not too long ago about like how you and I went to PAX South and met up with viewers and all this shit. And one of the questions that I got was like, well, where are all of those viewers now? So, see, it does work both ways, dude. I promise you. Because the moment that Soul Saturday stopped, None of those people are even around, dude. They don't even pop in to say hi. They said fuck on it.
Yeah, well, I think it's also been a very long time.
Of course,
Like,
of course.
yeah.
Dude, we're talking
yeah,
like
and
7,
then-
8 years.
Yeah. Which on the internet, that might as well be like fucking 25 years. But,
People still don't
yeah,
believe me when I say that we did that. I'm almost still shocked that we did that because we had not been
we
streaming for
went
very long.
XL?
Yeah, we were just like, hey, you know these people that watch our streams? Let's just fly out there and just live with them for a weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
But
It was,
like,
I mean, it was
I think that like
was fun, though.
it does, but it shows like how much our channel did pop off back then. Like it did. It went from nobody watching till we had like 20 to 30 people almost every fucking stream in a short amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah, there was definitely, like, when you looked at it on a graph, the growth was
Yeah,
crazy.
I remember us looking and be like, dude, I can't believe we have 50 followers. And then it became 100. Then we celebrated the 1,000. You know what I mean? Like it happened like
Yeah.
boom, 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 like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, it was always just fun just to, like, hang out and play games. And, like, obviously, you know, like, it was cool to see, like, the channel growing and, like,
Yeah.
Chad enjoying it and stuff like that. But, like, I mean, even if, like, there were like 3 people in the fucking chat, like, I was still having fun just fucking talking about stupid shit and playing the games. And,
yeah,
like,
I mean, in retrospect, I appreciate it so much. It's not the viewers or the money that I remember. It's like going back and watching the old clips and seeing like how much we laughed at shit. That's what like is like eternal to me.
yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
like what,
but I did want to. I know you said you had some questions, some specific questions lined up. I don't want to like ramble on too much, and then
No, this was good. The only one thing I want to talk about is just so like both of us have it on record really quick before
Yeah.
we open it up to the questions. So anybody watching the podcast last time to submit questions, I'm just going to pick a couple at the end here. Before we get to questions though, I get this question all the fucking time. So I want both of us here. We answer it, tell the short story, and then anytime somebody asks, I have a clip ready to link them to. So many people say, Zach, where the fuck did this channel name come from? The Milky Finishers. Do you remember?
Dude, it's such a like not.
It's not exciting. But no,
No.
listen, that's why I want this to be the last time I answer it, because then I'll just link it. Watch the podcast. But
Yeah, we literally were just sitting there trying to figure out what are we gonna name this channel, and like I don't even think we tried. I think we almost immediately went to like random name generator or something.
it's because we did try for like 1 minute, but then we realized we're like, what could we come up with that sums up both of us? And we were like, dude, we just couldn't. So
Yeah.
we decided to go to a randomnamegenerator.com.
Yeah, like just like literally just the first fucking Google search response that we
On your
got.
phone, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like randomized, and we're just like kept hitting fucking randomize. And it
Do
was,
you
like, kept
remember that I didn't want this?
You didn't want the channel name?
Yeah. You thought it was funny. And do you remember the one that I wanted?
No.
It was the breakfast finish.
Oh, okay. I remember. I think the first so it came up on that like it randomly generated the breakfast finishers, and I was like,
Yes!
that's the dumbest shit I ever heard.
Yeah, okay. But the Milky Finishers, I was like, if our channel does grow, we're never gonna get sponsors. We're never gonna get Twitch banned. Do you remember how like who was the decider?
Was it what, Jake?
Yeah, it was really late at night, and you were like, you know what? I know how to settle this. And you called him, and he actually woke up. He was sleeping, and you were like, yeah, he was like, what's up? And you were like, I got a question for you. You're like, if you were scrolling through and you saw a channel, which one would you be more inclined to click on? And you said the breakfast finishers or the Milky Finishers. And he picked the Milky Finishers. I didn't want that, but I let him be the tiebreaker.
I feel like it's really obvious to not pick the breakfast finishers. Sound so fucking stupid and boring. Even more stupid than what the Milky Finishers is.
I know, but I was worried because I was like, is that even gonna get us banned on Twitch?
It's
didn't know.
ambiguous enough, dude.
It is.
Like there's
It's so funny because I don't know. I don't think I've ever told you this, but about a year or so, actually 2 years ago at this point, I actually did a huge charity stream. Like it was like a Smash Bros tournament, and I partnered with Direct Relief, And in order to get that sponsorship, because they promote you on their website or whatever, you have to actually do like a Zoom call with them. And just hearing somebody like that's very professional, like in a suit, talking to me and addressing me as the Milky Finishers, it still was hard. But never once have I like gotten questioned. Sometimes I'll rate a channel and they'll be like, "That's a weird name" or "That's an interesting name." But I guess, the amount of non-conflict or pushback we've gotten from it is surprising to me.
That's what I'm saying, because I feel like, first of all, it's memorable, right?
It is.
Like, I think it's memorable. I think that it's not something that you're gonna see like, oh, they just copied their name off of this guy or this person. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it seems pretty unique.
It is.
And then also, it's ambiguously, there we go. Somebody in chat coming up for me.
All right, for the YouTube viewers, chat said that Milky Finishers sound like cum. I actually had a popular streamer, Punkation, and I rated his channel, and he was actually having like a philosophical discussion with his viewers about our channel name. He's like, and I wouldn't give him a clear answer. He's like, what does the Milky Finishers mean? He's like, it's either cum or breast milk.
It's up for you to decide.
That's the beauty of it. It's
Yeah.
like, he's like, are you talking about like big anime titties? Or are you talking about semen? And I was just like, that's for the viewer.
It's like like a Rorschach test.
It is. It's like what you see really shows like what your psychology.
Exactly.
So yeah, I give you and Jake all the credit because I didn't want this name. So
if it would have been the Breakfast Finishers, we never would have broke 100 followers.
I'm actually inclined to believe it because guess what? I don't even fucking like breakfast. I just like the meal.
I didn't even eat breakfast at the time. I was one of those degenerates. I was like, I don't eat breakfast in the morning, and then I was like malnourished and fucking...
Yeah, and then you'd be like, I haven't eaten all day, so I'm gonna do 2 Code Reds and fucking spicy garlic wings.
No wonder I'd fucking... Well, it wasn't just the Code Reds and the spicy garlic wings that make me puke. It was the fact that I would first of all, it's a lot more than 2 Code Reds. It's very kind of you to assume that I was only drinking fucking 2 Code Reds. Like 6 Code Reds.
It was really like 6, dude. It was worrying.
Cases of fucking... It was horrible. I don't know how I don't have diabetes, but anyway, like, yeah, I would have like the fucking 6 Code Reds, loaded B-dubs, with the fucking spicy garlic wings, the ultimate nachos. I had to get the ultimate nachos.
We did.
And then the fucking spicy garlic wings, and then on the way home we'd stop and I get a fuck ton of candy. And I would just fucking eat all the candy.
I forgot we would go to the gas station and we would buy like Dippin' Dots candy, all this shit.
Dude, Laffy Taffy, that was my shit. I get Laffy Taffy all the time.
You did. And I always got gummy worms.
Yeah, and dude, could you imagine what my fucking stomach must have been like just with that mixture of just Mountain Dew, Code Red, fucking Buffalo Wild Wings, Ultimate Nachos, and then just pouring a bunch of candy on top of it.
And then I don't know if you still are, but you were a stress eater. So on the Undertale days and Mario Mondays, you'd always be like, I need a snack, I need to get chips, I need to get something to fucking eat. You would...
A little bit. I think I've kind of replaced it with a different and much better habit of I'll start fucking
masturbation.
No. I'll start like cleaning like suddenly. Like I'll just start fucking like looking around and like I need to like make things not be messy because it's just like even if it's
that's actually a really good way that like having like OCD cleaning is a really good way to that's way better than slamming down sugar.
Oh, dude, Mountain Dews! Oh my god, I can't even drink Mountain Dew anymore.
Dude, I can't tell you. Yeah, I can't tell you the last time I had Mountain Dew. Years at this point.
It was like a few years ago at this point for me when I tried to drink it. But I was like, yeah, I'm gonna. It was Code Red too, because I was like, oh man, that's the fucking elixir, you know, like that's the ambrosia.
Yeah, dude, we loved that shit. Dr. Pepper too.
Dude, cherry Dr. Pepper specifically.
Yeah. Jake, when we were streaming from Jake's little studio, if that's what you want to call it, he would just have the cases like fucking arm's reach away at any point.
Oh yeah, because he had a mini fridge and he would just load that shit up. He was fucking wild because he would literally like it was ridiculous. He would wake up. Actually, no. Before he it would be after he brushed his teeth, which is so fucked up to me. He would brush his teeth and then he'd be going to lay down in bed, and he had the fucking at the refrigerator, literally within arm's reach of his bed. And he reached over and he'd open the refrigerator up, crack open a fucking Dr. Pepper, a cherry Dr. Pepper, and take a big chug out of it right before bed, right
That's
after he brushed his
crazy.
teeth.
The minor caffeine content would never allow me to be able to do that. I'd be up all fucking night.
Dude, all right, like, there's something that needs to be said.
Oh shit!
Young men. What?
Oh, get ready, chat. Andrew's about to drop a bombshell.
No. I was gonna say, like, I think that young men should not be allowed to not either go immediately into the full-time workforce or immediately into college upon exiting high school.
Where the fuck is this coming from? This is like a crazy pivot.
No, because the amount of degeneracy that, like, I mean, think about it, like, the fucking horrible food we would eat, and, like,
yeah,
just the horrible, like, sleep schedule we had, and, like, we would it was just fucking terrible. Like, we probably done permanent damage to our bodies, and we don't even
no, dude, I'm fine. Yeah, you're right, maybe to our brains. Well, what are you drinking now? What are you sipping on now?
Black coffee.
Nice.
Yeah. I try to remove sugar as much as possible. I still have my lapses, but yeah. Yeah, so I mean, but yeah, Mountain Dew Code Red, that shit is done. We're done with that. I can't drink that shit anymore. It makes me feel sick. But yeah.
Really quick before we get to the questions, I have one I know we're running low on time here, but I've got one big question that I've got to ask. That's kind of a surprise, but it's going to be like the big clickbait of the episode. And you can answer however way you want. You can answer honestly, dishonestly, you can do whatever you want. So do not feel pressured. I'm putting the ball in your court, and what you decide to do with it is completely up to you. But I have but I have to ask because everybody always asks. According to, on the record, Andrew Dong, why did you leave the Milky Finishers?
Well, I mean, it was just one of those things where we were getting older. Like, it actually goes in line with what I was just saying about, being a young guy without any, like,
direction,
real prospects, right?
Yeah.
Like, in life, like, we were kind of just, like, trying to figure stuff out, but not actually doing anything to nail it down.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I was just like, I need to do something because, like, it's just not, like, I don't see a future doing this.
Yeah, I mean, that's very fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I was like, I tried I looked at a few different options, and I eventually went with one of them, and then
cool.
I pursued it, and it's led me to where I'm at now, and I think it was a good decision. I mean, obviously, like, I look back at, like, the streams and stuff, and I think about, like, I don't regret doing them at all. They're super fun.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, it was just one of those things where it was just like, because by the time I left the channel, like, officially, I was like, what, like 24?
It was 2020. It was February of 2020 was the last time you were on stream officially.
Yeah, so I was 24.
Before I killed you off in the lore.
Yeah, maybe 23, almost 24 at the time. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know. It was just like, we'd been doing it because I think we started doing it when I was like 19.
Yeah, it was.
So we've been doing it for like 5 years.
It was the very end of 2016.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, was it? Because when did MGS5 come out?
2015.
2015, I thought. We didn't start doing.
You're right. So it was actually early. Yeah, it was like January, February of 2016. Wow, that's even longer than I thought. So now it's officially been 9 years because it's January 2025. Holy fucking shit.
Holy shit.
9 years. That means next year will be the Milky Finisher 10-year anniversary.
Can we just say how fitting that is with all this talk about MGS5 and MGS?
Yeah, I'm afraid it's been 9 years. Holy shit.
Oh man, dude, I still like think about MGS5, and it really upsets me. Kind of tangent, but
yeah, no, go on.
It really upsets me.
I'm not being rude. While you're telling this story, I want to look up because I know the exact date our very first stream was, so I just want to scroll through. But I'm listening.
Okay. I was just gonna say, like, there's so many people that I know, even personally, who are huge Metal Gear fans.
Yeah.
But they haven't played 5. And I'm like, why the
That's
fuck?
That's crazy.
I'm like, but 5 is incredible. Like
5 gets
obviously
way
it
too
has
much hate.
flaws.
I love it.
It does. It does. And I think 5 is going to be one of those like games that like 10 years from now people are going to be like, this was a masterpiece and we just didn't know it at the time.
Yeah,
You know? And
I agree.
I think obviously the story's not finished, right? Like
yeah,
that's the biggest
everybody
flaw.
knows that. Yeah.
Yeah, but and like, you know, there's some, but even like the stuff that happens in the story, and I think a lot of it was really like the stuff with Skullface and everything like that. Like
Yeah.
it was not super like easy to follow and understand, so I can get why like people would have like,
Yeah,
oh, I
especially
didn't really
coming out of
understand
MGS4. You know what I mean? Which
Yeah.
was everything was explained. I mean, that was still confusing as shit, but everything was kind of spelled out more via cutscenes. Where a lot of the MGS5 story was the tapes and the subtext and the knowledge of what happens in Snake Eater and shit like that. Peace Walker, which a lot of people didn't even play Peace Walker.
I know.
So
and
like, and that's majority. You don't know who the fuck Paz is. You know who these assholes are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a shame because I love that game. I think there's certain games that I randomly think about. Like I just will start thinking of it like these.
Dude, MGS5 was like a part of my brain for years, dude.
Yeah, like MGS5, Nier Automata. What's another game that I randomly just like? Well, I mean, like Final Fantasy X, obviously being like my favorite game ever.
Orc Massage.
Orc Massage.
Undertale.
I mean, yeah, Undertale. I always gave Undertale its due credit back then, but even now, man, I'm like that shit was like, that was a really good game.
Yeah.
And it's really unfortunate now, like how many fucking shameless calls there are of like just trying to catch one on.
There's so many indie inspired games, but
yeah.
But not to cut you
anyway,
off, I want to make sure we get at least through 2 or 3 questions that were submitted. But hey, for anybody watching the stream, like I said, the way that I want to do this podcast, it's not like it needs to be a one and done thing. If there's a guest that you guys like, I'm sure Andrew would not mind coming on a second time. We have so many stories we didn't tell, so many more things to talk about. So I'm sure in the future, if you wanted to come on the podcast again and just talk like this, absolutely. Because we haven't even talked about like what games you're playing now or what shows you're watching, anything like that. So we can just save that, and like some of our favorite streams and least favorite streams. But we can save all that for a part 2. But I know there's a lot of people that don't get the chance to ask you things because they see you almost never unless it's an April Fool's Day or a fucking Game Awards.
Game Awards.
Yeah, the game. So I'm just gonna scroll through some at random. I'm not gonna ask ones that I think are stupid. First question. First question by Dally. Are you single?
I'm happily married, Dally.
Wow, that's actually breaking news on the podcast. I never said that, but yeah. Well, he said it, so now we can talk about it. But yeah, Andrew is a happily married young man. That I didn't dox that. That was all you, buddy. So that was a good question. That was a good question. See, we're learning stuff. I told you new breaking news on the fucking channel.
I appreciate it, Dally.
Yeah,
I appreciate it anyway.
Taters has a question. This was a story I told a couple days ago on stream, and she wants to know in particular if you remember this. We're not going to use the person's name. Let's just call them Jay. Okay? I'm just going to say Jay. Okay. Do you remember the time where like we were at a convention? We were at an anime convention and we stumbled upon this guy that you and I both know. We're going to just call him Jay. If you don't know who I'm talking about, I can send it to you, but you might know from the story. And me being me, you know how I am. I really didn't want to hang out with the guy. So do you remember when I was like, dude, go take a picture with this Catherine cosplayer? I was like, it's going to be so sick. You love Catherine. And then they went to take a picture and I immediately ran off.
Wait, was this one that I was at?
Yeah. Were you? I don't know. But I know that you know about the story. I know you know about the story.
Wait, okay, hold on. So back up a little. What was the question again?
Do you remember it? Is this something that you remember?
I don't think so. You might have to message me. Yeah.
Yeah, there was some. Okay, I can just tell you. Nobody will know from this. It's the person that we both know that had dog poop all over their room.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I love I love how out of context that you know. Now the chat's gonna want to know more about that than anything else. But no, so maybe you weren't there. I assumed it because you usually went to all the same conventions that I went to, and there was.
Well, we would never. Yeah, we go to the same conventions, but we would never almost meet up because you'd be doing some fucking like. I don't know, you'd have a mask on and be fucking doing some crazy shit, and like half the time I wouldn't even know if it was you. Like I'd be like, was that Zach? Did I just see Zach? Like I wouldn't know if it was you or not. Like it would kind of look like you, but you'd be wearing a fucking mask. So, like I was always like looking behind my fucking shoulder, like worried that you were just gonna pop up out of nowhere, fucking mask, just I don't know.
I'm so glad you're telling this story because I feel like when I tell these stories, nobody believes me. And that was one of the things that you would always say about me. You'd be like, when I first met Zach, I thought that he lied a lot about his life until I started hanging out with him.
Just made shit up.
But then you would see that I was telling the truth.
Because you would just say so much ridiculous shit, and I was like, you know, I met a lot of fucking people that just like say stupid shit because they think it's funny. But... And of course I'm like, okay, guy, like you're obviously just like trolling or whatever.
Yeah.
But you would say stuff, and I wouldn't believe you because it sounded too ridiculous. But like time and time again, you'd just be right. You just like, I was like, what the fuck?
That's what I'm saying, dude. When I say something, it serves the purpose for which it left my mouth. I do not lie. One of the best examples that you didn't believe me is when I told you about that mall that I go to. That's like,
yep. That's
yeah,
exactly what I was thinking of.
You're thinking of the mall?
Chinese restaurant.
Yes, yeah. And didn't I explain everything? So for anybody who doesn't know, I used to go to this mall and I used to like hype it up to Andrew all the time, and I could tell when I would tell the story that he didn't believe me. But I was like, no, dude, there's this mall that I go to, and 90% of the stores are abandoned, and there's this Chinese restaurant. And there's always the same guy with the backwards hat that works there. And when you ask for orange Fanta, he fills the lid so full that it spills over onto your hand. And I was like, and for some reason, there's always birds flying around. And he's like, yeah, all right. And then me and Jake went there, and everything happened the exact way I said it would.
Dude, it was like, I swear to God, going into that mall, it was like a fucking fever dream. It's like we entered a separate fucking reality. Like, it was
I always knew the spots, dude. I always knew the crazy places.
No, like it like so at the time I don't even know if this was like a thing on the internet, but like, you know, like liminal spaces or whatever.
Dude,
that mall was like a fucking liminal space, and once you entered it, it's like fucking time and space warped around you, and you're just like the people too. There wasn't a lot of people in there. It's like when you like play like a random fucking indie game on Steam that like some guy in like, you know, like Eastern Europe made, and there's like 6 NPCs in this giant empty open world. Like, that's what it was like. And like, I remember too, there was these 2 guys in suits. And do you remember this?
Yes, I do. Yeah. And they came up to us trying to sell us a bathroom or something?
Yeah, like, it was they must have been like college age guys, and you could tell they didn't want to fucking be there. Like, they were not, like, they were like, this shit sucks. And they were like, hey, you guys want to like sign up to maybe win this bathroom remodeling prize? And we're like, what the fuck? I'm like, no. And they're like, come on, man, there's like nobody here. We just need we need somebody.
Yeah, we were the first non like SCP they interacted with the whole day. So like it was just us.
Yeah, it was yeah, looking back on that whole experience, and it's funny too, because I mean, you know, from what I understand now, like malls are pretty empty.
Yeah,
now,
no, but this was not when that was that normal.
That was before, yeah, that was before, when like and like half the stores were already closed when we went in there. Like,
yeah, I remember one of the stores in particular that we walked by. It was a huge ass area, and it was just called the Coca-Cola lobby. And there was like one red couch, like the casting couch, a mini fridge, and a TV. And it was a huge ass room. And yeah, it was just called the Coca-Cola lobby.
And there was nobody in there.
I was like, you guys want to go in there? And you're like, no. You're like, that sounds terrifying. Because there was no witnesses.
Another thing that you failed to mention about the Chinese restaurant too is that you said that if you walk past it, the guy will like harass you to like come to the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, like it's you aggro him by going
like he had like a cone of visibility, and if you enter his cone, it's just like over.
He's like, hey, come here! Yeah, get here right now!
very insistent on you going to him, and
and the
and it
food was
like,
so bad.
the food was terrible. Yeah, the food fucking sucked.
I brought my other friend a different time, and I told him the exact same thing that you said. And he said one of the funniest things because he was like, "Yeah, whatever, Zach, you're making up bullshit." And then he got the General Tso's chicken and he got the orange chicken, and we just sat down. And I remember eating. I was laughing so hard I was crying because my friend was not trying to be funny. Like there was actual visible like worry in his eyes, and he was just like, the orange chicken and General Tso's chicken are indistinguishable.
I mean, okay, to be fair,
and he's like, I think I got food poisoning. He's like, I think I got food poisoning.
You definitely get fucking food
poisoning. He's like, why is there always fucking birds in here?
Yeah, dude.
Oh gosh.
To be
the
fair,
funny
the
thing
General
is,
Tso's chicken and orange chicken are basically the same thing. Like,
yeah, you're right. The funny thing is, all these people, they can actually. A lot of our stories are fact checked because one of our episodes of Chaos Edition, I think it's Chaos Edition episode 4 on Twitch.
How do you remember that specifically?
Dude, I spend a lot of time rewatching and making clips and TikToks of our old content.
Fair enough.
Episode 4 of Chaos Edition was the stream we did soon as we got back from that mall. So I'm sure we told these stories in that episode because we came back from that mall, set up, and then played Mario Chaos Edition.
I can't even imagine what my fucking mental state was like that day. Because, like, first of all, like, experiencing all that, and then coming back and streaming fucking Mario Chaos Edition, probably to, like, fucking 3:30 in the morning. Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
Not sustainable.
I've got one more question if you got time for it.
Yeah, that's fine. What's
okay.
up?
Last question is by Alex Ito. If you could become any video game character for one day, 24 hours, who would it be? So you get to be them for one day, but then after that you go back to your normal self. I'll think about mine while you're telling yours.
Yeah, that's hard because a lot of it has to be like a game character where like they don't get hurt. Because I don't want to get my ass beat. I don't know. That's maybe like a Pokemon trainer or something, because like they don't, they get to like go on like an adventure and like get to have fun, but like
I think that's gonna be my answer too.
Yeah, they have the Pokemon do the fighting. They don't have to actually do any fucking combat. So
mine would be Pokemon trainer, so I could have a bunch of Gardevoir.
Yeah. I should have considered that, at least from you. Yeah, because like one of the first things I would think of is like, oh, like Final Fantasy or like something, but then it's like, no, then you gotta fight like fucking like gods and horrible monsters that are gonna like hit you with meteors, and I'm like, that sounds stressful. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like being in the Pokemon world, Salazzle.
I don't know what is Salazzle. I'm gonna Google this.
Okay. Look up Salazzle. You're gonna be very upset that they said that. You're probably about to get a ban.
Hey, that's fine.
From him coming in.
The funny thing is,
not gonna be happy.
Urban is a viewer that when I started playing Tears of the Kingdom, he spoiled something, so I banned him for a year and a half. I said, I'm not unbanning you until I beat the game, and it took me a year and a half to beat the game. And
I still haven't beat that game.
It's a good game, but it is hard to beat. There's something about it where it's just like you lose steam. So yeah. I think that game would be better with a lot less shit. Salazzle Pokemon, right? That's fucking disgusting, dude. I can smell them. I can smell them through the screen.
Oh, it smell like wood chips.
No, I feel
like wet wood chips.
It's like that video of the girl that puts like all the eels in her ass.
What? What the fuck are you talking about? Where did you see that? What the fuck? Yeah.
That's what that Pokemon looks like. But
okay.
All right. Well, on that note,
yeah. Say where do we go from there?
On that note, I think that this is a good place to end. Obviously, we have more stories and more things. I'm sure the chat has many more questions, so I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of angry messages being like, Zach, you didn't read my question. Well, let me know if you guys would ever want Andrew back on the podcast. This was a really fun experience, and I hope that you liked it too. This, out of all the years that we've done something, we never did something like this. Like, we never gave us a chance to breathe because we were always like game, joke. Even that stream where for an hour and a half we just tried to open up an Xbox 360. I don't know. It was. We've never had a time to just talk and do a lot of stuff. And like I said, there's plenty more stories. So I'd love to have you on the podcast again. I am going to have a couple more people. I am very curious how that will go. I wasn't worried about you at all because you've been on stream and you're used to it, but I am curious how people who have never been on a live stream will handle it.
Yeah, you got to be careful. They're gonna
one guest in particular is like extra nervous, and I want to try to like tell them it not to be, but at the same time,
oh, they're nervous, and they make you nervous.
Yeah, well, I don't want them to be uncomfortable, and I don't want like chat to make them uncomfortable or anything.
I just imagine like somebody like Milky showing up on stream, and then you have to.
Okay, before we leave, I have to tell this story. I have to tell this story because this is a bad one. This is a bad one, really quick. So for anybody who doesn't know, can I say Mickey's relation? Or no, just a friend? Friend? Okay.
No. Yeah.
So Andrew had a friend. It's not really of ours because he wasn't really my friend, but something happened. We had only been streaming. I remember when it happened too. It was during the Final Fantasy 15 Platinum demo. And
that's fucking throwback.
Yeah, it is. And something happened on stream that our channel could have just been gone right there in that day. So if any Twitch staff is listening, don't leave right now, Twitch staff. But we were streaming, and he comes over, and he's just like, hey, what are you guys doing? We're like, oh, just streaming. Well, okay, back up a little bit. We heard your door open, and we both got excited.
Immediately.
No, we turned around excited because we were like, Jake's here! Yeah, we were like, Jake's here! Woo! Yeah. And then it wasn't. It was Mickey Mouse. And he's like, what are you guys doing? And we're like, oh, just streaming.
Dude, I was sweating. I immediately started first.
So was I, dude. God. So I was nervous too. And he's like, how many people are watching? We're like, 7 or 8? He's like, tell 7 or 8 to show him this. And he pulled down his pants and showed his ass.
Yeah.
Yep. And then he left. And so after that stream, I just deleted the VOD because
honestly, like, I was way worried he'd do something worse. Like,
oh yeah, even, like, I thought he was gonna show his wiener.
Even worse than that, I didn't know what he was gonna do. That man is he's like a creature. You don't know how he's gonna react.
I do have one more story. This was gonna paint me in a bad light, but this is something I've never told anybody ever. Only you, me, and Jake know this. Never has this been spoken to anybody.
Put up the fucking Game World exclusive.
World premiere.
World premiere, yeah.
Do you remember the other thing that happened on our stream that could have gotten us immediately banned?
Or in the Resident Evil 7
do you think about that a lot? The fact, wow.
It's so fucking funny. I love that clip.
I love how it went because it happened, and then we went a good hour and a half of just playing the game. Then we said, all right, chat, thanks for watching. Good night. I clicked end stream, and then like a fucking movie, you turned your chair, and you were like, you just said that. And I was like, I know. I was like, I'm going to delete the VOD.
I'm going to play it off like it didn't happen at the moment.
The moment happened, and an hour and a half goes by, and we just played off. But then, soon as the stream ends, you just turn to face me, and you're like, so that happened.
Yeah, because we could have got banned. Like...
Well, no, I'm not going to tell chat. They're just going to have to be left wondering what we're talking about. But
does it exist somewhere?
On my PC. I clipped it and saved it to my hard drive for me to laugh at. It's nowhere on the internet. Nobody could find it. It's for me and me only that I watch because I love to look at the moment that like you can just see in your eyeballs, but you don't make but you can just tell. And then also Jake is in the background, I think, playing Monster Hunter on his 3DS, and you just see him lift up his head to look at the camera and then go back down. Like, it all happens. It all happens, but nobody in the chat acknowledges it, and nobody acknowledges it. It's crazy.
Yeah. I always remember that because it's fucking hilarious.
Nobody in chat knows what I'm talking about, but they still think it's funny. So because I know for a fact I've never told this story. Because I don't even know how it happened, really. I remember what I said, but I don't remember. Usually,
You
I
don't
know
remember like what was happening in the game? I remember. What was happening in the game.
It's when what's his name, Baker.
The dad. I don't know.
Yeah,
the dad.
When the dad like walks by the door and like jump scare. Words cannot describe how happy I am that you immediately remember that. How that's always burned into your brain.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be a fucking elderly dementia man, and I'm still gonna remember that moment because it was one of the funniest.
Okay, I'm not gonna leave chat hanging. I was gonna tell him what happened. We played Resident Evil 7. It was the first time we experienced the game. I didn't know what the hell we were into it.
Demo.
It was the demo. It was the demo. So, but we didn't know what to expect, and the jump scare got me. And I said, what did I had to watch it again, but it was something like.
It was an explicitive. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I was like that something just walked by or something.
it was something. It was definitely ban worthy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
What you said.
Sure. And then we just go for an hour and a half, not bringing it up until the stream was over. Oh gosh, but anyways, we've talked. We've gone past the time. But I really appreciate it, and I hope that the chat liked it. And I know that I had a good time. And hopefully in the future you come back, and we'll get some more crazy stories about some stuff in the future. So say goodbye to Andrew Dong, everybody. Thank you for his time. I'm going to continue to stream, so I'm just going to boot you from the call. But I will talk to you later. I appreciate it, dude.
All right. See everyone.